I've gotten 2 requests to do the most underrated teledrama characters. And I've done the most overrated teledrama characters video. Which was my very first video, by the way. Almost a year now. Can you believe it? Where does time go? I couldn't come up with a whole list, but I decided to do the TD character who, in my opinion, is the most underrated. Sugar. Yes, shocking, unpopular opinion, I know. I'll explain why. If you disagree with me, that is 100% okay. If you say anything hurtful, though, kiss the comment section goodbye. Now, let's dive into why Sugar is teledrama's most underrated character. But before we begin, please remember to subscribe to my channel and hit that like button. The word underrated. Before we really go in, let's explain what the word underrated means, since this word is very misused within the teledrama community. Here are some examples I see of the word underrated being used incorrectly. Tyler and Noah are underrated because they should have made the Immersion World Tour. Dawn is underrated because she should have made the Immersion in Revenge of the Island and possibly the finale. She was out too early. Brick is underrated because he should have made the Merge and All-Stars. Now let's look into the definition of the word underrated. Not rated or valued highly enough. So the examples I just mentioned are not how you use the word underrated correctly at all. That's horrible English grammar. Additionally, how can we say that Tyler, Noah, Dawn, and Brick are underrated if everyone is saying that they're underrated? So, Tyler is definitely not underrated. He gets talked about a fair amount. Noah isn't anything but underrated, in my opinion. He's extremely overrated, if anything. He's the most overrated character within the teledrama franchise. He's boring and his sarcasm is his only character trait. I don't see why everyone likes him. Dawn, underrated? Huh! Not in a million years. Her fan base is massive, but I love her. Brick is for sure not underrated. He gets talked about quite a bit. He is one of my favorite characters, though. What you say here in the examples I just said is they have unused potential, or you would like to see more from them. Or you can say they're underused. Sugar is, in my opinion, the most underrated character in the franchise. She doesn't get the love she deserves. So, people, if you're going to use the word underrated, please know how to use it correctly. Another example of how underrated can be used is Jackson Hole is underrated because its scenery is so beautiful, yet doesn't get the attention Yosemite gets. Pocatello's reputation. Don't get me wrong, Pocatello is a horrible season, and it gets the hate it deserves. It has 2 main problems with it. 1, most of the cast sucks, and 2, the challenges are boring. Beardo, all he does is beatbox, so that's all there is to his character, and it's kind of annoying. Leonard, do I really need to explain? Amy, a horrible person obsessed with constantly torturing her twin sister. Rodney, his whole character is falling in love with every girl he sets his eyes upon, and is so delusional he thinks they love him back even. Ella is a Snow White carbon copy, completely unoriginal. Topher is an annoying Chris wannabe. Dave, don't get me started on him. Max, I can't stand him. He's an evil genius wannabe, and every time he says the word evil, I want to shove daggers into my ears. Scarlet was alright until Scarlet Fever. Sky is the blandest character ever. Sean is a horrible zombie-obsessed freak. Sugar, however, is one of the few characters from the season that I actually liked. Being a likable character in a bad season makes you even easier to appreciate. Comedic relief. The best thing about Sugar as well, she's hilarious. She never fails to make me laugh. Her conflict with Ella, her worship of Leonard Max, love of food, how she could eat disgusting Jackie Shucks, being a pageant queen and farm girl talker, her obsession with herself, Crabtree. She does have a bit of O in her, most definitely. Minus a lot of farting, and her sensitiveness in Skyfall is hilarious. Fierce and competitive. Sugar is very strong. Like, she can push a tree over. She is a very strong competitor. She demonstrates leadership from time to time, like in 3 Stones and a Baby. She attacked Scarlet in Scarlet Fever and even tied her up in her own hair. She was great at being the Seeker in her own Ghost Seek. I also like her rivalry with Skye. Even her appointing Leonard as leader was pretty hilarious. Like Lindsay trying to be leadership at times in action, like Admiral Lindsay, her hotness. No, not exactly. He's succeeding in doing it, but still great to see. Sugar could give a bear a Heimlich and Mo Monkey Mo problems, and she could dig her hand into a monkey's gut. Like what? Sugar made it to the final 3 and wasn't exactly a boring floater either. Like, she worked her way to there. Her flaws. Yes, Sugar has flaws, just like literally everything. I do feel she is very overhated. Here is her main flaw for me. I am not a fan of her being the role of the villain. She didn't really do much to make her villainous. She had to be rude to Ella and try to tamper Faith and Skye's relationship, and this is the pits, and that came out of nowhere. As well as push a tree on Jasmine. I think they had her try to tamper Faith and Skye's relationship, and this is the piss because Ella wasn't in the game anymore, serving her villain status. With the lack of a stable villain, I think that's why they had Scarlet turn evil in Scarlet Fever, since then Sugar wasn't doing anything that makes her a villain. She also had some villainous moments that were rehashes of previous villains, like in Mo Monkey Mo Problems. She said in the confessional that the teams were going to merge soon. It was time to get on with their lives, which is a repeat of Scott in Revenge of the Islands runaway mall thing in the confessional. Chris is going to merge the teams any day now and get going on about lying to the gullible. Or in This Is the Pits, Shay talks about how Dave and Skye's relationship means an alliance. And she talks to Shawn about how they need to keep them apart. And she tries to break them up throughout the episode. And then Skye switches teams, with Chris breaking them up. This is a rehatch to Heather in Search and Do Not Destroy, confessioning that Gwen and Trent's relationship means an alliance, and how her alliance will be the only alliance on the island. She then tells Lindsay that they need to sabotage Gwent, and then Lindsay helps her in doing it. Heather succeeds in kissing Trent, and he is eliminated, therefore breaking Gwent up. Sugar laughing at Ella's life being risked twice in A Blast in the Past is also a problem for me. Other than these 2 flaws, she's a funny, fierce, and great character. For example, Justin was great in action. He underwent amazing development. He was so forgettable on the island, and he had almost no lines, and all those almost no lines were in the first episode. But he wasn't a great villain. Like, he only did one thing villainous, and that was make Gwent break up. Great character, bad villain. Same case of Sugar as in Action Justin. Both are hilarious. Sugar, along with Jasmine and Sammy, are the really reasons I'd ever go back to rewatch Pocateo. She has a great rivalry with Skye, is hilarious, and is a very strong competitor. Well, there you have it. Why I believe Sugar is Teledrama's most underrated character. Please don't forget to like this vid and subscribe to my channel. Who, in your opinion, is Teledrama's most underrated character? Please let me know in the comments. And please, for the love of Jesus, use the word underrated correctly. Refer back to my English lesson before you comment on who's the most underrated character.